I happen to love that song. I don't know why. Good evening to Podcasters Live, our live Wednesday podcast. I love music, and I came across that song. I don't know why I like it. I just really dig that song. Those of us who are I'd probably say of a certain age, will remember this topic that we're actually going to be talking about tonight, RSS feeds. If you were in any type of business, any type of marketing, any type of sales function, also if you were a person who was you were in school, the RSS feed was something that was vital to getting content to you on a regular basis. But more importantly, getting you the right content. And we're going to talk about, is an RSS feed right now in podcasting still relevant? Is it something that you still need to function as a podcaster? So we're going to answer those questions tonight. All righty, I hope you come loaded for some questions tonight. This is going to be a really good a good topic tonight. It's going to be kind of not my probably not my normal hard hitting topics. This one's a little bit of a softball, but it's something that is out there in the podcast sphere and even the live stream sphere as it relates to podcasting and the future of podcasting, because I want to make sure that we do one thing that if you leave here tonight is we're going to help you kind of differentiate between the RSS feed from a podcasting standpoint from when podcasting started to kind of now what a podcast is, and also the relevance of the RSS feed, associated with that as well too. So before we get started, we want to make sure that I say hello to everybody that's over there on LinkedIn checking us out, Podcasters Live. On LinkedIn, we really appreciate you guys over there. Make sure you put your questions, in the chat as well. Facebook, thank you so much. We have a really good Facebook group over there too. So if you guys are looking and are listening, make sure you put your comments and questions in there. And then last but not least, our YouTube channel has been blowing up, growing by leaps and bounds. So thank you for all the people who have subscribed and hit the bell. So we really appreciate you for that as well. Just want to make sure we got everybody, let everybody know that we're wherever you guys are looking from, that we see you, and we really, truly, truly appreciate you as well. And then of course, before we move into something, as you go throughout the night, as you listen to our content, as you listen to our content, if you are in a place where you need your podcast or your live stream jump started, if you are stuck, if you don't know kind of where you want to go forward, if you don't know where to move, if you feel like you have gotten stale with your content, we are here to help you with that. We have a 90-minute what we call power session, where we talk to you about various things around your podcast, whether it's your concept, the gear, or there's something that you're stuck on. We can help you. We've been doing this since 2007, and we love to help podcasters and live streamers become unstuck. If you are thinking about a podcast, or you have a podcast and you've been in pod fade, we have a full coaching program called From Concept to Creation, where we take you through the process so that you can create a 12-episode season. Because one of the biggest things that we know is that 50% of podcasts fail, and they fail because of pod fade. And that is typically around the 7th episode. So our goal is to move you past that chasm, if you will, and to move you forward and give you a healthy jumpstart into your podcasting journey. And it's been really successful. And so thank all of our students that we currently have, and we look forward to everybody else that's going to be out there. And then on Saturdays, as you guys know, we do our Saturday live training. This week we have Mr. Corey Gomes from the Black Podcasters Association. This is a overdue live stream in the context that we have been trying to figure out what we wanted to talk about for a while. And we are going to be talking about who listens to your podcast. And we will be talking about podcasting stats. Who's listening in America? How are they listening? What are they utilizing podcasts for? And then also we'll move into, as from a Black podcaster standpoint too, what are some of the things that you need to understand and learn and know? And actually, all these things that we're going to be talking about is going to help you with your content and how do you want to create your content so that you're hitting your audience properly and that you're giving them the information that they need so that they can be successful. So make sure every Saturday at 10 a.m. that you check us out there as well. All right, cool beans. So topic tonight, RSS feeds are dead. Are they? Are they dead? I don't know. So what's an RSS feed? So it's a real simple syndication. Here, think about it as a I got this stuff up here, right? But here's the I was thinking about how can I describe it. Think of it as a suitcase. So when you pack a suitcase, when you have a suitcase, what does a suitcase do? You put content, you put your clothing, your toothbrush, and all of that stuff inside of the suitcase. And if you're traveling, ideally, when you use a suitcase, you're traveling, you're moving somewhere from point A to point B. An RSS feed is exactly that. It is a suitcase for your content, right? The content that you put in there, whether it be a blog, it could be an article, it could be a podcast, it could be a coaching program, it could be whatever the online digital content is. A RSS feed is that suitcase that you pack it in, and it allows you to move that content strategically from point A to point B, period. That's what it does. The biggest aspect of a RSS feed is the content that you put inside. The content is ideally targeted to a very specific group. Right, so understand that. Everybody, we get out of sorts. We start thinking RSS feeds. Oh my gosh, what is that, dude? It's a suitcase for content, and it allows you to move that content from point A to point B to point C or whatever it is. But the one thing that I do appreciate about an RSS feed is because it allows you to get very specific with where you want to target that information to, but also on the opposite end, if I am searching for something very specific or a topic, I can utilize the RSS feed to actually get that information to me. When I was in grad school, we were doing all of these different projects on overseas expansion, into various companies. And so what I ended up doing on some of these big websites, I created an RSS feed so that anytime an article around international expansion and laws around international expansion, soon as that was downloaded to certain websites, Harvard Business School, Inc. Magazine, whatever it was, anytime the content was downloaded, guess what? It shot that content right directly to me in my email box, right? So when we start to think about the RSS feed, hopefully, if you have any questions, I'm simplifying it because it's really that simple. There are some dynamics around creating an RSS feed. I am not a developer. My buddy Jamie, who was just here, he is a developer. But we utilize it in that context to take content from point A to point B, but it is only as good as the content that you put inside of that RSS feed. Let me know if you're tracking with me, if you have any questions, or if you have any thoughts around the RSS feed. And how have you used an RSS feed in the past? Have you utilized it for school, work, or if you're a lot of doctors actually utilize it too, for different papers and different research projects and all that, because they want to get very specific information. So one of the best ways to do that is to set up RSS feeds. And here's what they look like. I wanted to give you just a, if you guys remember these, right? If you look at different, I'm going to expand this just a tad so you guys can see, and let me know if you can see this or not. If not, I'll make it full screen, and I'll get myself out the way. Actually, you know what? That's what I'll do. Doesn't matter. You don't need to see me. I can always move this. But if you see this over to the right, you see the box that is that's highlighted. You will see that those are different various RSS feeds that were actually created, and they're very specific on certain things that, you know, whoever it was. I pulled this off the internet, and it's very specific on certain things that they actually want to see within their box. So you can create the RSS feeds that are going to be very specific around that aspect as well too. All right. Here's just another example, of RSS feeds that these are kind of old school, but they still look the same. This is what's the one thing about RSS feeds. They're very some companies make them look nice and pretty, but the ones that actually I always think that work the best are the ones that kind of look old, like not what's that? What we were just talking about from DOS compared to Windows. It looks very computer, like almost kind of computer generated. They don't look like they'll do anything, but those are some of the best ones that I've actually seen in operation as well too. So what does this mean for a podcast? So what I did here, I wanted to show you what the RSS feed does for a podcast, okay? Because it's important that you understand this for two reasons. When you start to think about if you are an audio-only podcast, or if you are thinking about, taking your live stream and making it into an audio podcast, right? And I got something I want to talk to you about here shortly around YouTube, Spotify. Spotify is a little bit different, but with YouTube and YouTube podcasts, I want to talk about something very specific, and I want to clear a couple of things up. So if you have a podcasting host, I use Buzzsprout, and the RSS feed that we have that's circled there, that contains all of the content for all of my podcasts. And so when I upload a new podcast, right, what it does, it actually automatically inputs that new podcast episode digitally into this RSS feed. This RSS feed, and I'm going to show you here in a second, is then already distributed to all of these different directories. So if you're looking on here on the screen, you will see Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcast Index. So my podcast is automatically, delivered to these different platforms for download. Okay. That's a whole nother episode too. Downloads versus consumption. A whole nother episode as well too, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. All right. So that's when you click on the RSS feed, and then it looks like this. I don't care. I'll take myself off. What you can see here is that it looks just like a URL address. But I kind of blocked off a couple of things because y'all don't need my RSS feed. So I blocked off some numbers. But you can see that this RSS feed is once again utilized for different directories. I can utilize it for different articles. I can utilize it. We just did a partnership. We're just doing a partnership with babyboomer.org. And with Podcasters Live. So every time I upload not just my podcast, but if I upload an article or a blog post on my website, we have mutually created an RSS feed, so that way as soon as that gets uploaded on my site, it automatically goes to the babyboomers.org site. So That's how you're able to distribute your audio podcast, right now. Your video podcast, that has to be distributed in another way, whether it's on your site or whether it's going to be on YouTube as well too. All right. So hope all of that makes sense. Just want to let me know if you're tracking with me, if all of this is making sense, and you are good to go tonight. And also, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to put them in there, because I want to make sure that once again we answer any questions that you guys may have, guys and gals may have tonight as well. All right. So here's the one thing that I wanted to make sure that I spoke about tonight, and this was around YouTube and RSS feeds. And I just had a series of questions that, I know I get asked a lot, and people, whether put in comments or things I've read. So is there an RSS feed for your podcast on YouTube? No, not right now. There isn't. So when you upload your video to YouTube, that's what you have to do. You actually have to physically do it. There is no RSS feed. So when I go to my hosting site, Buzzsprout, and I upload my RSS feed, or I upload my my podcast, it doesn't go to YouTube. It just goes to all of the audio podcast directories. Right? So that's the major difference. YouTube is in the process of trying to actually get an RSS feed type of it's not plugin, but it's the process of allowing RSS feeds to be delivered to their platform, to your specific page. The other question that I have up there, can your podcast host send your podcast directly through YouTube? So no, not yet. So that's kind of answering that question. Third question, and the last one here is YouTube a hosting site for your podcast? So hosting sites do something completely different. So no, YouTube is not a hosting site. Maybe I'm a little bit wrong on that one. Maybe I'm wrong, because I guess I think I'm gonna correct myself. I would say that they probably are, and here's why I would say that is because I was thinking about this question in the audio only standpoint first, right? Podcast hosting sites, the quintessential podcast hosting sites do something very different. They are the ones that you actually upload your podcast to, and then they distribute it to the directories. But they also provide analytics. They also provide, the ability to add pre-roll, mid-roll, and in-roll marketing aspects to your podcast. They allow for scheduling for guests. They do so much. They take a lot of the things that we would do on a regular basis out of our hands, and they just allow they provide a kind of all encompassing services for your podcast. YouTube doesn't do that. You have to take the physical video and then actually upload it to YouTube. So in that instance, they are sort of hosting your podcast. They are kind of it's almost like your podcast from a video standpoint is parked there. And what I've actually started to see now, I started to see a lot more hosting companies who have their own podcasts actually upload on YouTube, and they are actually uploading just their just a thumbnail, and just a thumbnail, and then audio, over it. I'm not particularly a fan of that, but due to the fact that YouTube is the second largest, search engine, right? it makes sense, right? I often talk about discoverability. YouTube is one of the best ways to get your podcast discovered, but I always think about it in the context of live streaming and connecting with your community, and then you can drive them over to your actual audio podcast. For me and for others that I've been working with, that has been a sound process for you to be able to do that and create more community with your actual podcast as well. So I wanted to kind of clear that up and make sure that I did speak about that as well. And then what's going on, Black Podcast Association? I'm hoping YouTube adds RSS feed to the podcast. Agreed, right? That will, because here's, you've been doing this, right? So, because right now you have to upload the video, and then you also have to upload artwork, associated with it. And those who have been doing podcasting for a while, they understand the importance of the artwork. With Retail Leadership with Steve Worthy, for every episode, we do completely different artwork. And our art, it still has the look and feel and the brand feel for Retail Leadership with Steve Worthy, but it's a different title. It's a different title, and it's also, the thumbnail creates a different emotion because the title is different. If you are a lot of podcasts, that's just something that we do. A lot of podcasts simply just put the one thumbnail up there for their artwork, and that's it, and change the bottom. That's cool. Not knocking it at all. But we always want to kind of go that extra mile, with that. And with YouTube, you actually have to upload your thumbnail and all that. Hopefully, if they do allow RSS feeds to come up, then they're able to actually add that aspect, to the feed, so that way when they upload the RSS feed to YouTube, it's the audio, or it could be a video, and then it loads the artwork and everything else on top of that as well. So cool, man. Corey, thanks for hopping in. And if anybody else has a question or thoughts or whatever, please make sure that you let me know. So here's the one thing. So here are the benefits. The benefits of the RSS, right? It allows new users, listeners, to subscribe to your podcast or your blog. Because, so hold on a second, I gotta get some water. So when we started podcasting in 2007, we initially when we started, we were just having conversation. We were just creating the content for our podcast. It wasn't until probably about 3 months in that we learned about the actual RSS feed aspect and the delivery method and things along that line. I knew of RSS feed from blogs and articles and different things like that, but then we learned all about it from a podcasting standpoint, and once again, utilizing that same analogy of a suitcase, we were able to upload our digital, content into that suitcase, and then put it in RSS form, and then be able to deliver it. Websites, people were able to download it whenever they wanted to at that particular point in time. So we started utilizing the RSS feed. We were, and I still am. I'm still more concerned about the actual content, more so than the delivery method. And I think the other reason why I am more concerned about the content is because of the hosting companies. Because the hosting companies do a lot of the work for me from an audio standpoint. So all I have to do is really focus in on great content. And the RSS aspect and the delivery method of my podcast is already taken care of. So understanding that aspect of the RSS, align content with your correct audience. So whenever you are looking for something very specific, right? Whether it's on Google, you type in something that's very specific to what you're looking for and what you need. if you want to get a very, if you have a subject matter that you are looking for, an RSS feed is one of the best ways to actually get that very specific information, right? Because once again, to further the analogy, that very specific information. I'm a Manchester City fan. We won today, beat Arsenal. Way to go, man. I'm gonna. There you go. So, if I wanted to get a RSS feed on Manchester City football, then I would sign up, right, for on their website to get weekly information and articles or whatever specifically from them. That is very targeted content consumption, right? So it's not just you getting something else that you don't need. It is getting something that's very targeted to your need, and that's what an RSS feed allows for that to happen. It allows for very targeted content and information. Worthy retail leadership with Steve Worthy is very targeted, right? It goes directly to all of the directories that are associated with that RSS feed. Also, it goes directly associated with any other website that are outside of my directory that, let's say I want to do something with Black Podcasters Association. I can give them my RSS feed, and anytime they, something, for their website, anytime something, I uploaded something, it actually automatically kind of goes directly to them. So it is a very targeted way of getting information to you. It streamlines your search process, 100%, right? If you are looking and need something very specific, an RSS feed is exactly what it'll give you, exactly what you're looking for, nothing more, nothing less. When we do a Google search, right, it'll give you, whatever the algorithm or whatever's popular, and it'll spit all of that stuff out, right? So, but an RSS feed will give you exactly what you're looking for, because you have to know what you're looking for in order to actually get the results that you need. So let's make sure you guys are tracking with me. So here's the challenges. Here's some of the challenges. It may seem like outdated tech, right? It may seem like outdated tech. I think that has always kind of been the argument a little bit. It's always seemed like it's been like it's outdated, like it's not going anywhere. I liken it to the idea around audio podcast, right? Where people think that, and people say, audio podcasts are going to be a thing of the past, and I am not in that camp. I don't believe that in any way, shape, or form. They are not going anywhere. They are going to be here for a very, 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 very long time. Video podcasts are cool. But like I said the other day, I was doing a training, and I was talking about bandwidth. Like, do you have the bandwidth to, do everything that it takes to actually put the video podcast up there? It's and if you do, great, right? It's awesome, and we can help you. We can help you with all of that stuff as well too. But you got to make sure that you're doing it all for the right reasons. That it's not just the next shiny object, because over time, this becomes this becomes a lot of work, and so you want to make sure that you're doing everything proper. Yes, that's right, man. City in the place, man. That game was awesome. That game was awesome. Yeah, I'm a serious football fan, guys. If you don't know that about me, well, now you do. I don't think audio podcasts are going anywhere. Audio is now calling themselves, Audible, is now calling themselves a podcast company. Yeah, I saw that. I don't like that. This is a book. It's still a book, right? But that goes to exactly the issue around, I guess around while the powers that be within podcasting are still super pro RSS feed. and everything that you could pack into the RSS feed. Understandable. Where now everything's a podcast, right? When everything really isn't a podcast, because if you utilize the old terms, everything that's being uploaded online now, there's not an RSS feed associated with it. Okay, and so you have to understand what the differences are. We at Podcasters Live, we don't utilize that RSS feed as our definition. We utilize the produced conversation of whatever that is that's a podcast. It's a produced conversation, meaning that there is a structure to the conversation. There is ideally an outcome to the conversation. Ideally, you learn something. Ideally, you're able to take whoever's listening to your podcast from where they are to a different place, allowing them to think differently. I'm really excited about Saturday because I'll tip my hand a little bit, for Corey and I, a large part of what people listen to podcasts is for news, but it's also for education. They want to learn something. It's not just for entertainment. So when you start to think about your podcast and start to think about it in a different vein, so that produced conversation idea, I think, holds more weight than the actual delivery method associated with that as well too. What's the last thing, Cher? They host a lot of exclusive, of course. Yeah. And Spotify does too, but hopefully, Spotify's, I don't hope they're not calling themselves a podcasting company, because they were music first. So anyway, that's just my little 2 cents about that thing. Let me go back to the challenges. So in tracking subscribers and different things like that, if you created the RSS feed, then you know exactly who's actually downloading the content, which is why one of these days we'll go in and I'll talk about actually I'm probably going to talk about it maybe either next Wednesday or it's going to be next Saturday. I'm going to be talking about downloads versus consumption or listening time. It's a topic that is, if you know me, it's very near and dear to my heart, and I want to really want to go in hard on that one too. So it allows you to track who's actually downloading the suitcase that you've actually input on the content that you put into the suitcase. So, but sometimes it's hard to track it. Sometimes it's hard to actually get good information on some of that stuff as well too. All right. I wanted to show you just a little bit of the journey, because I'm not too far from being done tonight. I told you it's going to be a nice little good one for you tonight. Probably won't go the whole hour, but here you go. So you have the podcaster RSS feed, and then Apple directories, and then it goes to the listener. This is from Buzzsprout, my hosting company for my podcast. So this is a little bit of the journey that your content takes as well. This one, it's not probably a good one. I'm gonna do this again too. When I was preparing this one, it looked good, and then you start to go live. It's like, oh, okay. So you better always make some adjustments when I need to. So the podcaster uploads their audio. So this is from Transistor. They're another hosting company. They generate a unique RSS feed, and all those RSS feeds go directly to your to the subscriber, and then also kind of goes through that via the directory that you're actually utilizing it to. The issue, as we always talk about, is that just because someone has downloaded your content doesn't necessarily mean that they've listened to it. And so RSS feeds are really good for providing, that type of delivery method for your information. But once again, it's a matter of actually who's listening to your content. So we want to make sure that the content is king, and that understanding that the RSS feed is something that's already been taken care of for us, right? All right, cool. Let's talk about this NORTHSTAR, and then I'm gonna close this out. If you guys don't have any questions, or if you have some questions, please let me know. So NORTHSTAR, this is just where I talk about a little bit, around what does this look like for you as a podcaster, live streamer, and kind of where you are to kind of sort of the future of podcasting, and what's something that you need to be concerned with so that you can be highly effective as you continue down your podcasting journey. Do you need an RSS feed? So right now, yes, you do. So even though they may seem antiquated from a technological standpoint, RSS feeds from a podcasting standpoint are not going anywhere. We just spoke about YouTube possibly getting the ability to accept RSS feeds from your host company. So it's our RSS feeds are not going anywhere. Understand that. So podcasts will not be able to appear in website, podcasting directories, or whatever without that RSS feed, right? There are ways. There is a I think it's called Audia. We met with the guy last year. Me, James, and actually my friend Jamie. We interviewed a guy. I'm gonna try to put a link to that actual interview. He is trying to decentralize, if you will, the ideas around podcasting and RSS feeds, in the context that he is trying to create. And I haven't looked at his site in a while, but he was. I love this passion, because what he was trying to do was to try and create a YouTube channel, if you will, or app for podcast, meaning that you can simply bypass your hosting company and upload directly into an app, send the app to whoever it is that you want to that wants to listen to your stuff, and they can go directly to that app and listen, or whoever is currently on that app, they can actually just search for, let's say they want business strategy, and they can find podcasts that are there. So he was really trying to create a repository for different podcasts. Now, I did actually. I uploaded. I think I want to say about 4 or 5 different episodes onto that app, not via RSS feed. I did it all myself. I went in there very similar to YouTube, and I did it, and I actually got a pretty decent number of listens. That's the difference. Audia. There you go, James. There you go. Yeah, Audia. Man, I got to go back and check, man, to see how my my episodes are doing. So the difference was that these were actual listens, right? These weren't downloads. So on that platform, right? And I think that's going to be the same thing, right? So that's why I'm telling you, if there's one episode that you're going to want to come and listen to, it's going to be my downloads versus consumption episode. I'm telling you, man, because I'm going to go to town on that joint, because I always say, you heard it here first. Downloads are going to be a thing in the past. It's going to be about listening time around consumption, period. So if you upload it onto his website, what happens is that as soon as someone plays, it's a play, right? Now, I don't know how much of my episode they've actually listened to, but they have acquired the knowledge because they pressed the play button, right? We talk about the idea around downloads is the aspirationally acquired knowledge, and actual consumption or listening time is acquired knowledge. So they've actually played it. It's vastly different than James uploading his podcast via RSS feed to my podcast player, and I see it like, oh, okay, cool. James has a new episode, and it's in my feed, but I haven't listened to it. So that's a completely different animal than, the download versus someone actually hitting the play button, right? There's not that on YouTube, right? I guess it's kind of similar, right? When someone uploads you're somebody that you subscribe to, they actually upload a new video. It sits there kind of in your queue, right? You can go down all of your subscribers, and then you see the little blue button and the little blue dot, and the little blue dot lets you know that there's a new video by that person, and you can go into their channel. You can see if oh my gosh, I want to look at this one. So there is that capacity and ability to kind of do that as well, So the idea around RSS feeds in the context is that you still need them, and there's still something that you're going to have to work with. So RSS feeds aren't going anywhere. The last 2 points that I want to make tonight is for you to continue to focus on your content, right? Even though, and I meant to put delivery method is not important. It's the content. Is not. Okay, so I'm live, so I can do this stuff. And I like doing this stuff live too, so that I can show you guys the power of eCam. Boom. There you go. Continue to focus on the content. Continue to focus on your content. Continue to focus on your audience. Making sure that your content that you are delivering is targeted, right? So we're going to continue to use that word when it comes to RSS feed and everything. Is targeted, and I should have put something on here too around your titles, right? When it comes to podcasts, and maybe that's something. Maybe that's another episode I can actually do too, because I see when your podcast gets downloaded into someone's player, right? Apple, Spotify, Pocket Cast, or whatever. The other thing is that people look at the title. People look at the title, and if that title resonates with them, right, then they'll download it faster, right? Here's the other thing: what happens too, and this is my own personal thing that I do, and this is kind of silly. It's not really silly. So I use an app called Pocket Cast. So I'll have a list of podcasts that I want to listen to, and what I'll do is that I will start one, stop it, and I'll start another one, stop it, and I'll start another one, and I'll probably have like 4 or 5 that are started, right? Because guess what happens is that when I listen to this one completely, it'll automatically go to the other one I just stopped. So I don't have to keep going in and searching, for episodes. I've already selected like the 5 maybe 5 or 6 that I want to listen to this week or this day. And it's kind of weird, I know, but I'm a nut job like that. And I'll let this one play. When that one's done, it goes to the next one. And when that one's done, it goes to the next one. So dope. It is so dope. I don't have to touch anything. So that's how I listen to my podcast. That's how I consume my podcast. It's just a little trick. I don't know. I stumbled upon it as I was listening to my podcast. I was like, oh man, it jumped to the one that I didn't finish yet, and I was like, so I sat there just playing around with it, and I was like, oh, this is awesome. So there's a little hack. I don't know if Apple or Spotify, they do that or not, but I use Pocket Cast, one of the best podcast apps that's out there, as well too. So I kind of use that. Content, continue to focus on your content, because the RSS feed isn't going anywhere. It is going to continue to be used as a delivery method. Period. Delivery method is not important. Here's why I say that. because there are so many different avenues for you to get your content out there, right? I always talk about having your own website. You have an article, you have a blog, right? You can have a gear guide. You could have a partnership with another website. All these different avenues and areas for getting your content out there, right? You have all of that stuff, but it doesn't matter if your content sucks. It just doesn't. It just doesn't. I'm sorry. I know that sounds super. I know that sounds super blunt, right? But I'm just being very honest with you, man. If your content isn't what your audience is looking for, it doesn't matter the delivery method. It doesn't matter where you put it at. It just doesn't. It just doesn't, man. I don't even know what else to say on that one because I don't care. You can bring me any type of argument that you want about delivery method. You can say that I got all my content over there. You can bring all of that stuff to me. Bring it to me. I'm going to let you know right now. If your content's horrible, nobody's listening to it. Nobody's listening to it. So continue to focus on your content and not so much the delivery method, of the content, because that's my thought process. So yeah, I'm sure the magic of VCam. Yeah, buddy, I can do some stuff in real time, and get it sorted. What's going on, Tech Troublemaker? Good show last night, man. Good show last night. I was able to catch some of your show last night. You were on location. It was some good stuff, guys. Let me know if you have any questions around RSS feeds and around your thought process around, where this is going, the importance of utilizing the RSS feed. I don't know if the RSS feeds are dead. I don't think they are. I think they are going to be here. I think companies are going to start to find a very unique way of being able to utilize the RSS feed because it's very efficient. It's very efficient to get content from where you are to where it needs to be to the very specific person that needs to get that content at that point in time. All right. So once again, make sure you join us Saturday, 10 o'clock. Corey and I, we're going to be going through some podcasting survey stats by the Pew Research organization around podcast listening, and also around Black podcasters and Black podcast listeners, because I think there is a distinction of Black and brown podcasters and how we listen to podcasts. So that's going to be very interesting, and I'm actually pretty excited about that. And then lastly, once again, if you heard some of this information tonight and you are interested in connecting with us to learn more about how to take your podcast from where it is to where it is that you want to be successfully, that is the goal. If you podcasting is a long-term game. It's a long-term game. It is not for the faint of heart. We take it very, very seriously around this idea of what a podcast is and the audience associated with it. So we are here to help you jumpstart your podcast. We are here to help you with your concept, your gear, but also we are most important, we're here to help you get past that whole pod fade thing by helping you generate a 12-episode podcast season, which will set you so far ahead of everybody else in this podcast game, right? There's only about 20% of podcasts, actually make it to episode 20, right? If you guys have looked at any of the stats that I put up there on a Sunday, Saturday, that there are like 4 million podcasts that are out there. So just think about it. Only, even though there's 4 million podcasts out there, there's only about 50% that are still active. And then of that active, only about 20% of those podcasts reach up to 20 episodes. So the goal is to get you past there, get you past that hump as well too. We got some stuff going on in the comments, man. I got to kick James out, man. I got to. You need to update. Corey said you need to update. Yeah, man. I thought you said you got some pictures taken. I thought you said you got some pictures. If you got some new pictures, man, send them to me, man, and I'll get you sorted. Yeah, James, I would ask you to be on live stream on Saturday, man, but I know you. It'll be 7:00. You're early riser, man. Let me know if you want to be on there, man. Too. I know Corey be good with that. Or we can chop it all up, man. But it's all about the training. It's all about making sure people are excited about the content that we're delivering out there. Who's that rock star? Yeah, I know, right? I know. Look at me. Let's just go back again. Look at him. Look at that dude. Look at Queens in the house. Queens in the house, son. There you go. That was for you. That was for my man in Queens. All right, let me get this off. All right. You guys have been awesome tonight. I appreciate. I feel like I'm a comedian or something, right? You guys have been awesome tonight. I'll be here until Sunday. I hope you learned something today. I hope you got something out of tonight around the RSS feeds, where they stand in your journey as a podcaster, as a live streamer. They're important. They play a role. But the cool thing is that a lot of these hosting companies, once again, they've taken care of the heavy lifting for you with the RSS feed. All you need to focus on is your content, making sure that you are delivering content that your audience wants to hear and that they want to listen to. But more importantly, it's going to help them in their lives so that they can move from where they are to where they want to be. That is always, always the goal of great, great content. So thank you for being here tonight. Podcast is live. This is Steve Worthy. I'm out. Have a great night. God bless.